Thanks for tuning in to Real Estate This Week, the online news channel for those of you who call Staten Island home. This is Hannah J. with realestatesiny.com. Today we have lots of updates on Hurricane Sandy progress, and we'll also be talking about just how worried Americans are about their personal finances. Stick around to the end if you're aching to know about the elusive cicadas' impending arrival on our island. First on the agenda for this week, a controversial relief center is forced to pack up and move. The Cedar Grove Community Hub, a tent station on park property, has been providing meals and various supplies to storm victims ever since Hurricane Sandy hit Staten Island. For many, the hub's presence has been a beacon of light in a dark time, but residential complaints have caused the city to order the removal of the tents from their current site. Donna Graziano, the head of the volunteer-driven program, was notified 3 weeks prior to eviction that she needed to relocate the facility because it obstructed the path for beachgoers. As the deadline was approaching, Graziano obtained permission from a nearby homeowner to move the tent into his property. While in the process of doing so, city officials notified her that the placement required a permit. Cedar Grove locals complained that the tent drew in wayfarers who did not need assistance. Now currently trying to obtain a permit, Graziano continues to advocate for disaster victims, around 60 of whom visited her tent for food and supplies daily. Storm-damaged parks are slowly making a comeback. Little by little, Staten Islanders are rebuilding their recreational facilities. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about the reopening of Miller Field, and now we have additional updates on storm-ravaged parks. South Beach and Midland Beach both have sites which have undergone extensive repair. The Parks Department plans to open many of these fields by Memorial Day of this year, but D'Amato Field unfortunately will not be on that list. The park was destroyed by Hurricane Sandy last fall, and plans to redevelop the site are still hazy. Borough President Molinaro has made no firm decisions regarding the location of the new park. Rebuilding D'Amato Field on its original site may be unwise, since we have seen that it is prone to receiving storm damage. Natural barriers will soon be developed on our shorelines. Plans for a seawall have been nixed by Mayor Bloomberg, but Staten Island's shorelines will undergo a different type of preparation for hurricane season. On May 4th, State Governor Cuomo announced plans to allocate $5.9 million in state funding to reinforce Staten Island's vulnerable beaches. Collaborating with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the Department of Environmental Conservation, and the New York City Parks Department will elevate sand levels to provide natural fortification against future storms. Dunes that were washed away will be restored, mostly to protect homes near the shore. However, not all shoreline sites will qualify for the program. The beaches that will undergo the dune reinforcement are South Beach, Oakwood, New Dorp, and Cedar Grove. Somehow, Midland Beach has been left out. Though the site was decimated by Hurricane Sandy last year, Midland Beach was deemed unfit for dune restoration on the grounds that it does not meet certain elevation criteria. U.S. Senator Charles Schumer and Councilman James Otto have publicly expressed their disdain for this exclusion, stating that residents of Midland Beach are in dire need of the same protections. A boating port is now up and running again. The Princess Bay Boating Association facility is now welcoming customers to park their boats at the marina in Lemon Creek. The yacht club's president, Ed Humphreys, was shaken to discover his property strewn with debris and upended vessels following the superstorm last fall. But the 80 members of the Boating Association have been hard at work since the disaster and are now proudly unveiling the new and improved facility. Humphreys is advertising the revamped location, stating that boat slips are available for vessels that cannot be stored at other marinas, which are not sufficiently rebuilt. The property's recovery was made possible through loans and grants, along with generous support from members of the community. And another popular Lemon Creek site is repaired and ready for summer. The Lemon Creek fishing pier was badly damaged during Hurricane Sandy, but now Staten Island residents are able to enjoy it again. The South Shore Pier reopened in the first week of May. Though the pier is ready for foot traffic once again, the remainder of Lemon Creek Park, where the pier is located, still remains closed to the public. Located off of Hylan Boulevard at Sherritt Avenue, the Lemon Creek Fishing Pier is a popular destination for families in the summer months. The dates that the rest of the park will be open again remain uncertain. A well-known community business is now back on the map. Hylan Medicine Cabinet sustained overwhelming damage from Superstorm Sandy, but after extensive renovation, the pharmacy has opened its doors again. Owners Roger Malerba and John Candela entered their pharmacy only to discover it in ruins after Hurricane Sandy tore through Midland Beach last October. The sewage cap was torn off by intense winds, causing sewage to be thrown throughout the store. The resulting damage forced Malerba and Candela to throw out their entire inventory. They struggled to raise over $200,000 for repairs and floor elevation, and these figures do not even account for lost inventory. Upon surveying the damage, the two men nearly pulled the plug on their 26-year-old business. They credit their patients and customers as being the driving support behind the store's restoration. The buyer of a historic Staten Island site is finally made public. Back in November, TrendingSINY.com covered a story on the Mount Manresa retreat house, which will be moving to New Jersey. At the time, a statement was released that a secret buyer would purchase the property. It has now been announced that the Savo Brothers Development Company of Princes Bay will acquire the site for $15 million with plans to develop on the property. The oldest Jesuit retreat house in the nation, Mount Manresa was built 102 years ago and is currently located in Fort Wadsworth. In keeping their tradition of secrecy, the Savo brothers declined to reveal their exact plans for the development, though it is known that zoning in the area allows for construction of townhomes. The Savo brothers also stated that their development of the area would be designed with the Jesuits' vision in mind and would preserve the beauty of the area. Financial confidence is on the rise, according to a new poll. Gallup released their annual Economic and Personal Finance Survey earlier this month, and the numbers indicate that Americans feel more secure in their finances than they did last year. In fact, poll respondents signify that financial worry has hit its lowest point this country has seen since before the recession began. 53% of those polled said that they were highly or moderately worried about their finances, down from 61% in 2012. Before the recession began in 2008, only 45% of poll respondents indicated they were either very or moderately worried about personal finances. The study, conducted every year in April, uses 7 variables to measure the degree of financial concern. Healthcare expenses, housing costs, and retirement are some of the issues taken into account. The Financial Worry Index is calculated based on the degree of concern, either very or moderately worried or not very worried, within each of these 7 categories. Then each category's final percentage is averaged together to get the final figure. These findings imply that the economy is slowly on the mend, but financial worry is still much higher than pre-recession figures. A new carousel premieres just before famous American horse race begins. Willowbrook Park's newest attraction, the Carousel for All Children, carried its first riders on Saturday, May 4th, just hours before the onset of the annual Kentucky Derby. Owned by the Greenbelt Conservancy and funded publicly, the Carousel features over 50 animal figures, ranging from traditional horses to panda bears and even a mandrill monkey. The ride is accessible to the physically disabled and is adorned with paintings of Staten Island's landmarks like the Tibetan Museum and the Conference House. Admission is $1.50 per rider, and bulk discounts are available. If you would like to rent the Carousel for All Children for a private event, you may call the Greenbelt Conservancy at 1-718-667-2165, extension 306. The 17-year cicadas make their appearance on Staten Island. Cicadas have been sighted crawling, rear end first, out of the ground in Princes Bay. These insects lie dormant underground until they are ready to breed. When the temperature climbs to 64 degrees, the cicadas emerge in droves. This particular brood has been named brood number 2, and the next emergence will occur in 2030. Staten Island will be New York City's only borough to host the creatures, whose sole defense is sheer numbers. Despite being completely harmless, the cicadas are a nuisance for many, covering the ground in some wooded areas and urinating on cars and passers-by when they roost in trees. They outnumber people by 600 to 1 in some areas, so use caution when operating power tools or lawnmowers. The cicadas mistake the noises for a mating call, and they will be drawn to you. If you need to seek shelter from the insect invasion, here are some community events you can attend. On Wednesday, May 15th, the Staten Island Catholic Youth Organization will host its Community Awards Recognition Reception at the Excelsior Grand. Awards will be presented to members of the Catholic community for outstanding achievements. Tickets for the 6:30 p.m. event are $75. If interested, please call 718-420-0829. On Saturday, May 18th, Staten Island's Community Resources will hold their annual Mother, Daughter, and Friends brunch called Come Spa With Me. Community Resources is a nonprofit organization that provides assistance for Staten Islanders with special needs. The event will run from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. at the Z2 restaurant, and tickets are $25 for children 12 and under and $50 for adults. To make a reservation, call the development office at 718-447-5200, extension 206 or extension 237. Also on Saturday, May 18th, Peace Action of Staten Island will host its Make Food Not War dinner to celebrate its 10th anniversary at Olivet Presbyterian Fellowship Hall from 5 to 8 p.m. 4 human rights activists will be honored at the event. Tickets are $60 at the door. To purchase tickets, please call Peace Action at 718-989-2881. The following Sunday, May 19th, the Lathrop Vorspy Memorial Scholarship Fund will hold an awards ceremony at their 10th annual fundraiser brunch from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. The organization provides scholarships to students interested in grassroots campaigns. Suggested donation is $55 at the door, and it will be located at the Colonnade Diner. To make reservations or for more info, email joyrobbins@si.rr.com. That's it for this week's broadcast. Thank you for joining us for this installment of Real Estate This Week. And if you haven't already, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and read our blog by visiting trendingsiny.com. Once again, Hannah J., realestatesiny.com.